Okay, everyone, thank you for attending this DABCC Live Webinar. I'm really excited about today. We have the guys from ControlUp with us, and if you're not familiar with them, then I'm glad you're attending this webinar because they make a really amazing product. And so with no further ado, I'm going to introduce my the host or the presenter for today. My job is the host, Yoni. But before I do that, I do have one piece of house cleaning. If you've been on the line for a couple minutes, you know. But please ask questions. We definitely want to turn this into an audience participation project. So the more questions you have, the better this webinar is going to be. Please ask them throughout the webinar. There's a questions piece of GoToWebinar, and go ahead and use that piece and just fire off the questions. And I will interrupt Yoni throughout the webinar, and we'll answer those questions. So we don't wait until the very end. We answer them within context. So please, guys, feel free to ask as many questions as possible. And on that note, with no further ado, Yoni, are you ready to get the show going?
Yes, I am. Thanks, Doug. So, my name is Yoni Avital. I'm the CTO at SmartX. We are the creator of ControlUp. And today we're going to discuss a bit about desktop virtualization management. So,
let's do it.
So, a little about our agenda for today. We'll quickly go over our company overview and discuss about the current state of the product. Do a few slides, and then we'll quickly jump to a live demo. We have prepared a live demo for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it. And again, as Doug has mentioned, I would love to accept any questions throughout the entire webinar. Once we finish with the demo, we'll show you the ControlUp architecture, which I hope you'll find interesting, and then move on to the last part of the webinar where we'll share with you guys our plans for ControlUp for 2013. And we'll also have a live demo about the new features available in ControlUp 2.0. And of course, we'll finish again with some other questions and answers. So, SmartX, we were founded back in 2009. Our R&D and headquarters are based in Israel. SmartX we consist mostly of Citrix veterans, guys who've done a lot of projects in enterprise customers, mostly XenApp deployments, RDS stuff, and then in the last years also we're dealing with some VDI environments. We launched ControlUp back in September 2011, and I have to say we really enjoyed to see the traction in the market. Right now we have more than 4,000 Citrix admins who have downloaded and used the product. The adoption is almost worldwide. But as usual, we're seeing the strong markets. We are seeing the United States and Northern and Western Europe as our major markets with ControlUp. We are seeing high adoption rates at large enterprises, at cloud organizations. And as you can see, we have gone through the traditional certifications processes with Citrix, Microsoft, and VMware. So we can be sure the product works well in all of those environments.
Perfect.
So a bit of background about what we are doing at SmartX. As you can see on the upper part of the slide, this graphic represents the way an enterprise network used to look like 5 or 10 years ago. So back then we had the proper division between the data center with objects like SQL databases or Exchange servers, and on the other side we had the physical endpoints. And for each part, we had the traditional management tools for that. So I guess you're familiar with most of the icons you're seeing here. Now, the lower part of the slide is what we're seeing today. So we have this new, this kind of object, new kind of architecture inside the data center, which in here is called desktop virtualization. Now, mostly we're seeing XenApp deployments, but we also have native RDS stuff, and of course, in the last couple of years, we are seeing more and more VDI deployments. And the idea behind ControlUp is to become the best of breed management solution for this new kind of architecture in the data center. Because unlike traditional data center objects, desktop virtualizations also consist of other layers. So, jumping on to discussing about some of the challenges we're seeing with managing virtual desktop environments. So what we're seeing here, this is the traditional data center management solution approach to monitoring and managing the data center objects. So as you can see, we have the layers in front of you. We have the hypervisor layer, which is, again, kind of new, but right now it's quite common to see hypervisor in every data center environment. We have the server operating system or computer operating system there. And above that, we have the back-end application we want to manage. So we have Exchange, SQL, and then what we have seen is that most of the major vendors, they are treating Citrix or VMware as a regular back-end application that needs to be managed. Looking on the challenge here, our approach is that when dealing with desktop virtualizations of environments, we need a tailor-made solutions. So as you can see, we are dealing with two more layers. Now, although this is data center environment, we still have end users and we have client-side application running in this environment. And we need to have a management solution who is able to manage those extra layers and get it all in a single pane of glass. So the other challenge we're seeing is the performance stuff, the performance visibility. Looking on a typical XenApp or RDS deployments, we usually start with a single process or application or user causing some issues. Now, in the beginning, this affects only that single session, which is not, that a great effect. But since we are dealing with shared environments and usually high-density resources, it's quite quickly becoming, a single application who might be causing some issues. Is fairly quick affect or overwhelm the entire XenApp server. And this is something that we want to avoid. Now, if you guys are managing large environments, what we need to do, the challenge is to spot those specific processes or applications who might be causing issues and deal with them before they affect the entire server. And the last challenge I want to mention is that I guess most of you guys are familiar with that. When we're dealing with XenApp or RDS environments or in VDI environments, we usually want our servers to have a uniform configuration. We want the registry, the services, the pre-environment to be the same on the entire server farm. And the challenge here is how we need a tool basically that will allow us to pinpoint and see specific servers or specific XenDesktop VMs who have different configurations and spot them and be able to deal with them before those differences can start causing issues on our environment. Right, so ControlUp, again, this product is our flagship product, started development back in 2010, and this was built from the grounds up to manage VDI and SBC environments. And when we are speaking about ControlUp, we are originally speaking about two major themes. So the first theme is about our real-time performance metrics abilities. So basically, we give you guys a continuous end-to-end visibility across the entire SBC or VDI environment. And from there, you can drill down to the further layers we've discussed before. So you can see the user session there, and then you can drill down to see the applications running inside each user session. The other major theme in ControlUp is what we call the multiple targets management. So basically, you can use ControlUp to, we have a rich set of management actions available, which you can trigger on every layer you can manage. Another thing we have done, we have developed a concept we call controllers. So what we did is basically we took some well-known Windows utilities, like the Registry Editor or the Services applet, and we have enhanced and expanded them to be able to manage multiple computers at the same time.
Very cool.
So as promised, enough with the slides for now. We'll dive to a real-life demo.
Perfect. The demo is always the best part. So, guys, if you if you have any questions throughout the demo, please use the questions piece to go to webinar, and we will get those answered. We do have a quick question, real quick, Yoni. You must. So let me read this to you. You must load software for each session. What is the footprint in terms of disk space and resource consumption for the ControlUp software?
Okay, so regarding the first question, we're an agent-based software, but the agent is running on the Windows server or the Windows OS layer. So you do not need to deploy the agent to any session, but you need to deploy the agent to any managed computer. Regarding the resource consumption, I will go over this in the demo, so you will see exactly how much resources our ControlUp agent consumes on every environment.
Perfect, perfect. And then just wondering if it's been tested on Windows 8 or Server 2012 yet?
Yes, our new version, ControlUp 2.0, is fully supported and certified with using Windows 8 and Windows 2012.
Perfect. And we have another one. So where can I download the presentation? And I'll take that one. We are recording this webinar, so we'll post within a couple days probably. We'll post the recorded version of the webinar along with the PowerPoint, and then a little bit of show notes and some links and things like that. So that'll be posted on DABCC.com within a few days. So we'll let you know about that. Just stay tuned to DABCC. Let's see, one more question. Is this real-time only, or does it keep a historical data as well?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. We hear that a lot. So right now the product is working in real time. All the information you will see in the grid, this is stored in the memory of the computer running the ControlUp console. We have an export feature, which allows you to export any grid you will see to a CSV file automatically based on a pre-configured schedule. On our roadmap, and you will see that when we go back to the presentation, we have plans to include full support for historical reporting. So that's in the works, but right now we have real-time module and an export to Excel feature.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so that's all the questions we have for now. Let's dive into the demo. And again, guys, use the questions piece to go to webinar. And throughout the demo, I will interrupt Yoni and we'll get those questions asked or answered. Yoni, it's all yours, buddy.
Okay, great. Okay. Thanks, Doug. So I hope all you guys are right now seeing the ControlUp console running on my lab environment. So what we're seeing here, this is basically the main computer's view. So what we see here, each line you're seeing on this grid represents a single Windows server. And in this case, we are seeing mostly XenApp servers. So as you can see, for each line represents a single computer. And as you can see, we have both static information, like how many CPUs are configured, the amount of memory installed, server uptime, but we also have real-time performance metrics for each computer. So we have simple stuff like the CPU usage in real time, memory utilization, the disk length, but we have some more advanced stuff, like, for example, the XenApp server load, which is basically the queue farm/load output in real time for all the servers, and some additional columns that you can see. This grid is highly customizable. So, for example, you can go to the search. You can go to the search line here, and you can filter the view to show only specific computers. So if I go ahead and type a name in here, you can see that the view is filtered based on the computer name I entered in the search grid. Going back to the grid, as you can see, I can go ahead and filter and sort the tables based on any column you see here. So I can quickly pinpoint if I have any computers right now utilizing lots of memory or lots of CPU, or does it have any issues with disk queue, for example. Now, I'll go ahead and pick up a server with some user sessions on it. If I select a single computer and I double-click it, as you can see, what I did right now, I drill down into the user sessions there. So what you're seeing here, this is the entire user session list running on a single XenApp server in my environment. Each line on this grid represents a single user session. And as you can see, for each user, we have some static information like the client name, idle time, but we also have real-time performance metrics for each session. So we can quickly see if any session is consuming a lot of CPU or memory resources. Now I can go ahead and select a session, And when I double-click the user session, I'm drilling down further into the user session there. So I will choose a session, I will double-click it. Sorry, just a sec. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is the drill down from the user session to the specific user session running on this server. So I can see a list of every process running inside that user session. And again, for each process, I have stuff like the PID, the version of the executable, but I also have real-time performance statistics, like the CPU and memory usage. So what we have seen right now, we've done a drill down from the entire terminal server or XenApp farm to the user session layer, and from there to the application layer. Now, our drill down capabilities doesn't end here. What I can do, if I spot a session who is consuming a lot of resources, I can go ahead and right-click that specific session and trigger what we call a get session screenshot action. So I will do that on a session as you can see consumes a lot of memory resources. And once I do that, ControlUp goes ahead and it should grab the screenshot of that user session in real time. So as you can see, I can correlate between a specific application screen and a bottleneck issue. So this gives me the ability to correlate application issues with CPU and memory bottlenecks in real time.
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. So this is, again, this was the computer's main view. Moving on to the other views inside the ControlUp console, we have the sessions view. This is what we see here. This is an aggregated list of all the user sessions running on my XenApp or VDI environment. So as you can see right now, we have something like 150 users running on my lab environment. Again, we can quickly sort the table based on any counter to see which sessions are currently consuming a lot of resources. And again, we can go to the search filter, and I can search for specific users. This will go ahead and filter the view to show me only those specific users I want to see.
Nice.
Moving on to the next grid, we have the processes grid, or the processes main view. In here, we have an aggregated list of all the processes running, or the applications running in my environment. So as you can see, we have almost 4,000 processes running. Again, I can use the search option to filter the view to show me, for example, only the Internet Explorer application. So as you can see, we have almost 180 processes running right now, and I can quickly see if any process is consuming a lot of memory or CPU, or see if I have any different versions of this process running in my environment. Moving on to the executables grid, what we did here, basically, we aggregated all the similar processes or all the similar applications into a single line. So, for example, I'll again go to the Internet Explorer example. So, as you can see, I have a single line which shows me, which represents this specific client-side application on my RDS or XenApp environment. So, I can see that on average, the CPU consumption is almost 40%, that the total memory consumption of this application is almost 6 gigabytes in my environment, and that I have 220 processes running on 5 different XenApp servers. And this, this is a great way to see the effect of client-side applications on your entire SBC or VDI environment.
Absolutely.
Now, going back to the...
No, please continue.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the questions. Please continue.
Okay, so one last thing I want to show you in the real-time performance metrics, and I go back to the questions about the, how much resources does ControlUp agent consume. I'll go ahead and I will filter this view to show only the ControlUp agent. So our agent runs as a service on each managed computer, and as you can see, I'm managing right now. I'm managing 40 computers. Now, as you can see, we have now the average CPU consumption of the agent is usually around 0%, and the average memory consumption is around 50 megs of memory. Regarding I/O, usually we consume almost no IOPS at all because the agent runs completely in memory. and it just sends the updates via the network to the ControlUp console. So the ControlUp agent resources is fairly low, as you can see. And this is the same both for RDS, XenApp, or VDI environments. Right. So this was.
Yoni, I'm gonna
so
ask.
This was yeah.
I'm gonna ask a couple questions if you don't mind. Is it a good time?
Yeah, definitely. Great. This is a great time. We're just done with the real-time performance metric stuff, so I'm good to go.
Perfect, perfect. So is ControlUp meant to be, I knew this one would come up, they always do, right? Is ControlUp meant to replace Citrix EdgeSite?
Okay, yeah, great question. Okay, so here's the thing, EdgeSite, I guess, all of you guys are familiar with the EdgeSite issues, but again, EdgeSite is a great tool from Citrix. What we're seeing is the EdgeSite is usually used for historical reporting and application crashes investigation. What we're seeing is that many of our customers that have EdgeSite deployed are using EdgeSite mostly for historical reporting, as mentioned, and they use ControlUp to do the real-time monitoring and the real-time troubleshooting. One of the classic use cases we're seeing is that the customer, the end user, is getting an alert from the EdgeSite console, and then switches to the ControlUp console to drill down into that specific server and see in more fine details what was causing the issue. So usually we see some it's like both products are working in parallel in some customer environments, and we're also finding some customers who find ControlUp suitable for their needs. But basically, the classic use case is using ControlUp for the real-time performance monitoring, and they use EdgeSite right now for the historical reporting stuff.
Very cool. So here's another EdgeSite related question. We have EdgeSite, and it's been relegated to, I can't read today, to historical and email alerting. ControlUp is much better and beyond that. Wow, that was the statement. I love it.
Me too. That's a great statement.
Yeah, and this is from good old Al, so he knows what he's doing. Long-time Citrix guy. So does this work with provisioning provisioned Citrix XenApp servers, so for i.e. from provisioning services?
Yes, definitely. So we have many customers running ControlUp in provisioned environments or even MCS-based environments. So we are fully aware and fully support single image management solutions. Our agent, does not include any, GUIDs or UUIDs, so you can quickly deploy it on any provisioned environment, and it's working out of the box, basically.
Very good. Hey, do you guys work with in-computing?
Not yet. We're not really, we don't have any, right now, any relationship with those guys.
Well, great. That question was actually from one of the in-computing employees. So I will connect you with them after the webinar.
Oh yeah, that's a great. We're basically building our relationship with the Citrix ecosystem in the last 2 years, and we have some great relationship with some of the other Citrix vendors and companies, and we're always looking to expand that. So yeah, I would appreciate your help connecting us to any SC might be.
Absolutely. So next question is, how does ControlUp compare to SolarWinds? I.e., what benefits does ControlUp have over SolarWinds, or would it be better to use them in tandem?
Okay, so SolarWinds have, they have great products and they have a great utility to monitor terminal server and VDI environments. The real-time performance capabilities are not similar to ControlUp, so they do not have that fine-grained, deep-level visibility we just saw with the product. We have some customers that are using both of them in the same environment. I'm not sure about their alerting capabilities, but I think they are more massive than ours right now. So again, if we're speaking about email alerts or stuff like that, I would say that right now you can use a product like EdgeSite or SolarWinds and do all the real-time stuff and other stuff I will show you soon with ControlUp.
Sounds good. Let's take a couple more, and then we'll get back to the demo. Doug, I would like to know if it's possible to see a historical view of an application from a user session. People complain about slow application performance. Can I drill down for, let's say, 3 days back? And I think we answered this earlier, but maybe you can readdress it.
Yeah. Okay. So just to show you something. So as mentioned, we are right now working in real time. But as you can see here, we have an export feature, okay, which enables you guys to, at any time, to export the grid to an XLS file. But you can also use, we have a scheduled export mechanism, which enables you to configure an automatic schedule. So let's say, for example, you can export the application grid every 1 hour to a network share. So you can go back in time and see on an hourly basis how the application grid looks like. And as mentioned before, we are working on a fully featured historical reporting mechanism. So you can go back in time. Basically, what we're thinking about is allowing you guys to use the same performance grid you're seeing here, and just go back in time and see how the grid looks like at any point in time before that.
Sounds good. And one more question. We have some more in the queue, but let's get back to the demo. So, but this one is sort of bouncing off the SolarWinds question. And that is, would you use, I'm getting a little bit of an echo here. Can you?
Yeah, I'm hearing you just fine.
Yeah, okay. Would you use this alongside LabTech MSP or instead of it?
Well, again, as we are quite familiar with most, desktop management solutions, and I think that as a general statement, most of the vendors we are familiar with are more concerned with the traditional management stuff that all of you guys are familiar with, like pushing software updates and doing some inventory actions and stuff like that. We are coming from a different approach. We are seeing ControlUp as a real-time management console, specifically tailored for SBC and VDI environments. So I'm guessing that if you want to do something like software, pushing some software packages to the endpoints, or looking back on an historical reporting, which is currently not included, it makes perfect sense to use ControlUp alongside your traditional software. But we are expanding the product, and right now we have a lot of customers who are finding the existing real-time features and the management features I will show you shortly. They find them really attractive, but they keep using that in coexisting with existing desktop virtualization, this desktop management solution.
Sounds good, Yoni. Let's go ahead and jump back into the webinar, into the demo, and we'll get back to questions here in a little bit. Sound good?
Yeah, perfect. So we just went through our real-time performance matrix capability. I want to show you guys the other part of the product. So we spoke about multiple target management. So a quick example, I will focus on the XenApp servers folder. So as you can see, I have 18 XenApp servers in my environment. Now, when I right-click an object, I can see all the relevant management actions I have for this object. And if you remember, I spoke about the controllers concept. So I want to go ahead and launch the Registry Controller. Now, I'm guessing what you see here should look quite familiar. This is the registry local machine hive. But as you can see in the legend, what we're doing here, basically, we are showing you an aggregated view of all the local machine hives of all the managed computers I have in my environment. So as you can see, a yellow key means that this specific registry key exists on all the XenApp servers in my environment. If a registry key is blue, it means that it exists on several servers. And if a registry key is red, then it means that this key exists only on a single server in my environment. So looking, for example, on this HP key, I can see in the rightmost grid that it exists only on a single XenApp server. Now, this might be intentional, but this might be causing some issues because, as you know, a single print server can cause, major havoc. And this is one of the ways I know that, using a tool like this can help you quickly identify registry differences configuration between multiple computers. So it's much quicker to find any issues using a tool like the Registry Controller. Now beyond the comparison and the visibility options, we also have full-featured actions. So if, for example, I go ahead and right-click an object, you can see all the familiar registry actions you can do. You can create a key, you can delete a key, and you can edit a value. The difference is that if I will do that via the ControlUp Registry Controller, I can do that simultaneously on all the XenApp servers or VDI VMs in my environment. So, imagine you need to edit a key right now in real time on 1,000 VMs. This is a great way to do that. And the same goes for values. If I will expand the Citrix, I'll go ahead and expand the Citrix IMA key, which I guess most of you guys are familiar with. Okay, so looking on the IMA runtime key, for example, you can see the values, and as you can see, I have some values who are similar or identical on all the servers, but for example, I have the host name value, which is of course different. So again, I can quickly see in the rightmost side the different values on each specific XenApp server. We have the same concept for other Windows utilities. So I mentioned the Registry Controller. I want to show you some other stuff as well. Again, if I'm right-clicking my computer object, I can see the entire management task available. As you can see on the grid, we have multiple actions available. So I will go ahead and launch the Services Controller. So again, the controller concept is similar for every stuff we have here. So basically, launching the Services Controller will allow me to see an aggregated view of all the Windows services running on my environment. So again, similar to the Registry Controller, I can quickly find differences in service properties between different computers. So for example, if I want to see the state of the Citrix IMA service on my entire farm, this is a great way to do that. Or if I want to see, for example, the Citrix Print Manager service, we all had some issues with this service, to make sure that this service is up and running on my entire farm. So using the Services Controller, I can quickly see the entire service list. And for example, looking on the Citrix Print Manager service, I can quickly compare its state across the entire farm. Now again, like the Registry Controller, I can not only compare stuff, but I can also go ahead and trigger some actions. So for example, I can choose some specific XenApp servers, and when I go ahead and right-click that object, I can manage the service. So I can restart it, I can start it, stop it, whatever I need. And this is a great way, to do some services management, especially in large environments. So again, we have, as I mentioned, we have a rich set of management actions available. We won't, bore you guys with going over every action. You can hopefully, download the product and play with that in your environment. But I do want to show you some other stuff as well regarding the multiple target management options we have. So moving on to the sessions grid. If I right-click a specific user object, you can see all the available user-level actions we have. So we have the basic stuff like like you register the get session screenshot option, but you also have basic stuff like sending a message, or logging off the user, all the stuff you can see in the Citrix console or the VMware console. But you also have some very interesting options. For example, you are able to do a bidirectional chat using ControlUp. You can quickly start a conversation with the end user. You can also do remote assistance, which I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that most of you guys are familiar with some of the shadowing issues we saw with XenApp 6 and 6.5. So we have a built-in remote assistant features in ControlUp, which enables you to quickly remote assist a session without using the Citrix App Center. Moving on to some more advanced stuff, as you can see, we have a neat user session action we call kill policy. Now, what it does basically, it allows you to temporarily remove the group policy restrictions from an end user session. Now, imagine you guys are right now remote controlling a user session. In most enterprise environments, this user session will be locked down by group policy. So if you want to open the command prompt or start the task manager, usually it's blocked. So once you're remote assisting a user, you can go ahead and trigger the kill policy action. And what it will do, basically, it will temporarily remove all the group policy restrictions, allowing you guys to launch command line, regedit, or whatever. Quickly identify and solve the issue. Once you're done, you can go ahead and reapply the group policy, and the end user session will be locked up again.
Very cool.
Right. So this was a brief overview of some of the management actions available inside the product. We also have a built-in remote desktop pane, so you can use ControlUp to remote desktop any server that you're managing. So again, you can stay inside the product and not jump between multiple consoles. I know that remote desktop solutions are quite popular with the Citrix community. So we have a built-in remote desktop pane. We also have an events pane, which enables you to see in a single screen all the Windows events coming on from all the agents. This is a great way to troubleshoot some events that are manifested by triggering an event.
Very cool. Hey, Yoni.
Right, so Al, I think this is this was like the live demo part of the existing version. Any questions I would appreciate answering right now.
Perfect. There's a stress settings section down in the bottom left. What's that about?
Okay, great. So as you can see, we have a stress level column. Okay, this is a built-in ControlUp column, and the stress settings pane is actually your way to configure how the stress level will be calculated. So moving on to the stress setting pane, as you can see, I can configure thresholds for each performance counter, and I can also configure how this specific performance counter will affect the overall stress setting. So I have a very fine-grained, a very granular approach to managing the stress level column. And each user can customize that based on his specific environment. But basically, the stress setting pane allows you to properly configure the stress level settings in your environment, and then use the stress level column as the major column to identify performance issues on specific computers or sessions.
Very cool. Okay, so next question is, please speak to SC 2012 integration, specifically Operations Manager. So, do you mean any integration with the SCCM? I believe that's what they mean. Okay, so right now we are basically the main integration we have with third-party monitoring solution like System Center Operation Manager or HP OpenV or whatever, is that in the ControlUp, in the new version, which we will demo shortly, we have an option to generate an event log each time a stress level is breached. So you can use the third-party monitoring solution to capture that event, and then you can integrate the ControlUp stress settings
inside your, your built-in third-party management solution.
Sounds good. Next question. Can ControlUp drill into switch usage for aggregate network traffic?
Okay, so basically right now our agent only supports Windows operating system. So you can manage with ControlUp, you can manage any flavor of Windows, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows Server, 2012, 2008, whatever. We are not monitoring network equipment. We do have network-related columns inside ControlUp, so you can quickly use the grid to see the network performance or the network counters on each computer.
Cool. Next question is, can you show how to configure multiple portals with different role-based access? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, I think what we'll do, I will go back to the presentation. I want to show you one slide about the new features available in ControlUp 2.0, and then we'll go back to the demo. We can do a live demo on the new stuff.
Perfect.
Okay, so one quick architecture slide before the new version. I think this is important. So as you can see right now, this is an illustration of our current architecture. So basically, we put a lot of efforts into making sure the product is super easy to deploy. All the end user needs to do is download a single executable from our website, launch it on his management endpoint, or publish it to the XenApp application. And once the console is up and running, you can quickly deploy the agents to the relevant XenApp servers or virtual desktop machine. And once the agent is up and running, it starts sending performance updates to the console. As mentioned before, all the performance updates and actions information is stored in RAM on the computer running the console. Now, as you can see on the right side, we have our very own ControlUp cloud servers, which are currently servicing login requests and licensing information. So this is the basic architecture for ControlUp. Right. So moving on to the ControlUp 2.0 version. As mentioned, we are planning to release this in January. Finger crossed, we'll hope to make it. We are currently in beta phase. So on this slide, you can quickly see, the major features, the major new features included in this release. So, we have a lot of enterprise customers that demanded some basic enterprise capabilities like a shared configuration model and the ability to delegate specific actions and views to other staff, to some of the headless personnel or senior or junior system admins. We also added some nice performance counters based on Citrix best practices. So you can use ControlUp to monitor all the Citrix-related performance counters. So I think, everyone likes to see stuff in real time. So I'll just, again, switch back to the demo. Right, so as you can see right now, this is the ControlUp screen, and right now I'm logged on with a fully operational sysadmin. We have all the rights available. So first, as you can see, I can see the management folder, and this folder contains management servers like provisioning servers, data collectors, etc. And also, when I right-click a computer, as you can see, I have all the available actions turned on. So this is the regular sysadmin with all the permission capabilities available. I will now switch to another server. So what you're seeing right now, this is an help desk user who has launched the ControlUp console on another computer. So this is one of my test accounts, and as you can see, I cannot see the management folder. Okay, so one thing I've done is that I've disabled the help desk pin to view the management servers. Now, when I go ahead and I right-click an object, you can see the sum of the management actions are grayed out. Okay, so So what I did basically, I built a special role with specific permission delegations. And you can do that based on any folder and based on any action. So you can build your customized role and deploy ControlUp to any IT member in your organization and grant him only the specific rights that he or she needs. Another thing I want to show you is the shared configuration model. So in the new version, all the ControlUp users inside the organization can see the same configuration tree. So a quick example, I will go ahead. I'm back on my. I'm going back to my full full feature sysadmin, and I'll go ahead and right click the root folder, and I will create a new folder. Okay, so excuse me for the delay, but this is part of the webinar stuff. So right now I've created a new folder called DABCC. I will now switch to the second console. And basically you can see that using my test account, I can also see the same console. And I can see the new folder created right away. So this is a great way to share the configuration between different control users in a single environment.
That's neat.
Thanks. One of the other new features we have, this is something that we call folders view. So as you guys seen in the real-time performance metrics demo, we show you the computers view, the processes view, the sessions view. In the new version, we have added a new layer, which we call folders, which basically enables you to monitor specific folders in your environment. So we have a higher level where you can monitor specific folders. We have seen many customers. We have seen many customers dividing their XenApp environments, for example, to different folders, like XenApp 6.5 or XenApp 5 folders. So using the folders view, you can get a higher level view of your entire XenApp deployment or Citrix deployment, and can see the different metrics for each farm. So, for example, looking on the XenApp farm, I can see that right now I have almost 500 sessions running, but I can quickly see that on the management server, they have only 24 sessions running, fortunately. So the folders view is, again, something that we have added, and I think many enterprise deployments will enjoy that specific view.
Absolutely.
One other thing that we have added, so I'm going back to the computer's main view, and I will choose a specific server. We have added a new controller. Okay, so we were calling that the programs and updates controller. And similar to what you guys saw with the registry and services stuff, we have added a new programs and updates controller. So you can quickly identify which updates or programs are installed on each server, and you can compare them. So we'll go ahead and launch that. So you can use this view to quickly identify specific updates. Now in this specific lab environment, we're using provisioning services. So I'm guessing that we will see a similar, and that's what I'm hoping to see, we'll see a similar list of updates installed on all the servers in my environment. So this new controller is a great way to quickly see Citrix updates or Microsoft updates installed on my servers, and quickly see if any specific server is misconfigured or missing some updates, which, as you guys know, might be causing some issues.
Sounds good. Are we ready to get back to questions, or do you have more to show?
No, let's go to questions. We have tons of stuff, but I think this is, I don't want to overwhelm the guys. So yeah, let's go to the question part.
You got it. And then, of course, we're almost to the top of the hour, and we like to respect everybody's time. So when we do get to the top of the hour, we're sort of formally in the webinar, but we will stick around and answer all your questions for as long as it takes to answer all your questions. So we have about 10, 11 in the queue, and let's get to those right now. So The first one, can you configure the interface to just show a heads-up display? For instance, wall-mounted TV or show real-time live data. And is that heads-up display customizable or a static setup?
Yeah, okay, so first we're already seeing customers, putting ControlUp on a screen, those large screen in the computer's room. So we are seeing those guys doing that. And what we did with the new version is that we enabled the full screen view. I've just switched the full screen view on my environment, so hopefully you guys can see that as well. So you can use a large screen, and display the entire server farm on your screen. And usually, what we recommend is that once you do that, you will sort the grid based on the stress level setting. So you will always see the stressed computers on the higher part of the screen. You can also use the new folders view to have, like a high-level approach or high-level view on your entire RDS, SBC, or VDI environment using a single screen.
Oh, cool. Okay, so next question. Next question. Are you able to schedule the exports to give you historical data, or is a manual or on demand? And I believe we'd answer that one also.
Yeah. Just to clarify, yes, you can. You can configure you can configure schedules. Okay, you can basically configure, for example, to export any grid every 1 hour, to export any grid to a network share using a CSV file.
Perfect. How does another sort of compare contrast question? How does ControlUp compare contrast to Veeam?
Okay, so I'm not a great expert of Veeam. I'm more familiar with the backup capabilities of that product. But if I'm not mistaken, Veeam and many other products like that are focusing more on the hypervisor layer. And, they provide a lot of functionality around the hypervisor layer, while we mostly focus on the Windows part, which is especially relevant for SBC and VDI environment.
Absolutely. Is there any functional difference between ControlUp versions, Pro, SMB, Enterprise, Corporate?
Okay, that's a great question. So the answer is no. From a features point of view, all versions, supply the entire feature set that you guys just saw. The difference between those versions is the amount of concurrent user sessions you can manage. This is basically or strictly a licensing issue.
Perfect. And then you guys have a free version also. Can you talk real quickly about that?
Oh yeah, love to. This is something very fundamental to our approach. We have a completely free version, which includes all the features you guys just saw. The only limitation is that you can use the free version to manage environments that consist of up to 50 concurrent user sessions, and only a single sysadmin and a single organization can use that. So you have full functionality, but this is available for a single admin and to manage up to 50 concurrent user sessions.
That's pretty cool. So guys, you can definitely go out to ControlUp.com right now or Smart. Well, what is your URL? It's ControlUp.com, right? Or SmartX?
No. Actually, it's the vendor name. So it's smart-x.com. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think the easiest, as usual, the easiest thing to do is just type ControlUp in Google, and that's it.
Exactly. Or just type it in your address bar, and it'll take you away. But yes, SmartX.
Even better.
You got it. Smart.x.com, and we're right at the top of the hour. We're going to stick around and continue answering these questions, but let's go ahead and in case you need to jump off and hit another meeting, another webinar, customer event, what have you, lunch. We thank you for attending this webinar today. Definitely for more information, stay tuned to DABCC.com, but also head over to SmartX.com, so smart-x.com, and go ahead and download the free version. It's fully functional, and then play around with it, have fun with it. And then if you have any questions, definitely guys, they're great at answering support in general. So I hope you guys like it. It's a really neat solution. It does some stuff that is very, very powerful. So let's Yoni, let's continue with questions. Sound good?
Yeah, definitely. I've just, for the sake of time, I've also put on screen our planned features for the next version, so it's on view. But yeah, go ahead, just shoot them up.
Perfect. So, and hopefully no one jumps off. What's more important than listening to questions and answers, right? So occasionally we get stuck sessions on some servers for a user and logging them off doesn't help, as it just returns on refresh. Can this terminate a stuck session?
Okay, so stuck sessions is a major pain in the ass in XenApp environments. I will say it like this: if the session is stuck due to a handled process, what you can do with ControlUp, you can go ahead and right-click that specific process, and we have a built-in TSKill action, which is very powerful and usually is able to terminate that specific process. And once that process is gone, the session will be logged off automatically. However, if the session is stuck in a deeper level, like if you have some CSRSS hangs or stuff like that, again, that depends. But most of the cases, yes, ControlUp can help you guys to remove those stuck sessions from the console.
Perfect. So next question: how many remote desktops can you run at one time?
Well, actually, we do not have any theoretical limits. I've seen guys opening up something like 50 remote desktop at a time. I do not recommend that, but if you want, you can do that. We have a full-feature remote desktop solution, so you can save the credentials, you can edit the properties. And this is a great way to remain in the same console throughout the day to manage your environment. You can use the remote desktop functionality, and from time to time to jump to the My Organization pane and have a quick look on your environment, performance-wise, any other thing you want to see.
Perfect. Is there a limit to a number of sessions, nodes, or servers ControlUp can handle?
Okay, great. This is a question that usually comes up when you're doing sessions with large customers. So I am happy to say that we still haven't encountered any situation where the farm was too large. Okay, so we have customers managing 5 or 10,000 user sessions concurrently with ControlUp. We have very large environments. We even can push further than that. Okay, the only thing is that if you manage a large environment, if you're managing 10,000 or 20,000 user sessions, you need to make sure to run the ControlUp console on a powerful server. So by that I mean a server with enough RAM, something like at least 4 or 8 gigs of RAM and a powerful CPU. But once you have that, you can go ahead and quickly and easily manage very large RDS or VDI environments with ControlUp.
Next question: is there any alerting available in ControlUp?
Okay, so great. So they usually say that a great question is something that we have a slide on. So as you can see on the slide in front of you, ControlUp 2.1 planned to be released during the first quarter of 2013 will include a full alerting mechanism based on email and text messages. So once you configure your stress settings, every time a stress level is breached, and you can configure that on a folder, computer, or session level, you can get a text or email alert sent through the console.
Perfect. Then, guys, if you want to ask any questions, definitely use the questions piece to go to webinar. We have about 6 more questions. But again, if you have more, please ask them. We'll get you answers. So next question, can this monitor Xen server or VMware host servers? And I guess the answer would be no, because you guys manage Microsoft servers.
Right. So right now, our agent, as mentioned, only supports Windows environments. Regarding the hypervisor level, as you can see on the slide, we are planning to start including hypervisor support from ControlUp 2.5, which is later, later for 2013. We will probably start supporting, only a single hypervisor. I'm guessing, the hypervisor you can find most commonly on enterprise environments. I won't mention any names, but we'll probably start with a single hypervisor support. So you can see that hypervisor also an additional layer inside our real-time performance metrics. But definitely we'll go ahead and support all major hypervisors, Xen Server, Hyper-V, ESX, and you can see those guys also in the performance metrics. This is something we are already thinking on and working on. Right?
Very cool, very cool. So you guys will be supporting Oracle VM first, right?
Yeah, you got me, yeah.
Okay, so next question. Have Yoni tell us more about the event log aggregation feature and its filters for it.
Okay, so I'll quickly jump back to the console. So the events pane, what it does basically, it aggregates all the warning and error events into a single place. So you can use this pane. You can quickly search events on event ID, free text. You can go ahead and quickly search that specific event in Google or event ID. This is really helpful. You can filter it based on any column you see here. So this is a very powerful, events pane using all kinds of filters and search capabilities.
Okay, next question. Can you run a Citrix command against all servers at once, but have them run at a stage time intervals?
Okay, so as you can see, when I right-click a computer object, I have an action which we call run as. Now, this specific action enables you to run any third-party utility or command line through the ControlUp console on multiple computers simultaneously. So, for example, we have seen customers doing something like that, do something like, using ControlUp to run DS main to recreate LHC simultaneously on multiple XenApp servers at the same time. So doing, ipconfig / register DNS or whatever. And this is a great way to run commands or, even push MSI packages to multiple computers at the same time. Now, right now, this is done in real time. So you cannot schedule this. You have to do it manually whenever you want. We are thinking about, adding some scheduling mechanism, but this is, currently, this is not available.
Next question. Do you have any plans to support Linux boxes in the future?
Well, as I mentioned, I think in the beginning of the webinar, we are focusing, mostly on SBC. We are an SBC, a VDI management solution. And right now, as we see the market, I think most, or if not all, of the SBC and VDI deployments are using Windows. So right now, we're only supporting Windows. We currently do not have any plans to support Linux yet. I'm guessing that once we see some, Linux adoption in the VDI space, then we might consider adding that as a supported operating system.
Metaframe for Linux. Okay, next question. Can you see real-time QFarms /load values against servers in heads-up display view?
Yes, definitely. We have right now I'm hovering over the XenApp server load column, And this column, basically what it does, it shows you on grid the output in real time of the qfile/load command. So you can quickly see the XenApp load on each server. And this is, we found that to be very helpful when troubleshooting connectivity issues or, any performance issues on XenApp environments.
Perfect. And then for the last question, and after this, we'll call it a webinar unless you guys have more questions. So if you do, ask them now or forever hold your peace. I missed the beginning of your presentation. Is this a virtual appliance, or do you need to install it in Windows servers, on Windows servers? Can you just real briefly, Yoni, talk about what it takes to get this up and running to the point of what we see on the screen now?
Okay, that's actually a great question, and we have a great answer for it now. So this is very simple. This is not a virtual appliance. This is what you're seeing. The console is basically a single executable. So the process looks like this. You basically go to our website, you download the ControlUp console executable, you then launch the executable on your management endpoint on your network, and once the console is launched, you will see the screen you're seeing right now. From that point, all you have to do is go ahead and use I will show it on screen. Okay, once you launch the console in your environment, you can use the Add Computers button to quickly see all the computer accounts available in your domain and choose the relevant computers you want to manage, add them to the configuration, and once you click OK, the console will automatically deploy the agent to the relevant computers. And that's it, presto, you have a ControlUp, up and running in your environment. This is quite amazing. We have seen large deployments, downloading the product, and in less than, I know that all vendors are saying that, but this is something else. In like 10 minutes, you can have ControlUp managing a large XenApp farm with 10,000 users. This is truly easy. And, I dare all you guys to try it. Go ahead and do that.
Absolutely. And guys, again, there's a free version of this. So, you don't have to, it's not down, it's not crippleware or it doesn't expire after 30 days. You're only limited to monitoring 50 concurrent connections. But, that'll get you definitely started. And if you find the value that I obviously see and you're seeing here today, then, you can, license it and move forward. So I do have one more question that popped in. So let's get this one done. We have a lot of published applications, and I would like to measure the end-user experience of those published apps. Is that possible?
Yeah, definitely. Published apps is just a Citrix term, but basically behind each published app, you have a Windows process. So as you guys saw before, we can, quickly go to for example, the executables grid. Maybe the applications grid is a better name for that. And I can quickly, type in let's say, for example, Explorer. Okay, so I can see a single line representing each published application, and quickly see the CPU overhead, the aggregated memory consumption of that specific application. And this is, I think, a great way to see the impact of specific client-side applications on your RDS, XenApp, or VDI deployment.
Absolutely. Yoni, thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed this webinar. I mean, you guys really have a neat product. It's unique, and I love it. I really like it. So we had some great questions. And what you didn't see is we had a lot of feedback coming back saying, hey, this is really neat. So that's a testament to your performance today, and of course your solution. So Yoni, again, thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. I want to thank all the participants, and it was a fun ride for me as well. So I guess we'll all meet up in the next webinar.
Absolutely, I can't wait. So we'll dive even deeper and a little bit wider too, because I guess we can probably go on for a long time. It's not a simple, our product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Next time you might book a book half a day. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this was like a taste, and hopefully people will go ahead and explore the product further.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, guys, thanks again for attending. To learn more information, definitely head over to www.smart-x.com or just put in Google ControlUp, and away you guys go. Download the free product, play around with it, have some fun. If you want to know, we did record this, or we are recording this, I'll get that posted within the next couple days. So definitely refer to DABCC.com for that. And you can follow us on Twitter. Follow ControlUp at ControlUp. Real easy. And you can follow me on Twitter at Douglas A. Brown. You have to put my middle initial, so at Douglas A. Brown. Or, of course, you can follow DABCC, and that's at DABCC. So, guess we'll just call this a webinar. Thanks again, guys, for attending. Yoni, great presentation. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today and show off your amazing wares. And on that note, let's just call this a webinar. Thanks, guys.